Hi guys, welcome back to a new Boom Beach video. I'm trying something a little different with the microphones. Hopefully the sound quality is better. You can let me know down below. But today guys, I want to jump into my task force's recent operation, and we actually beat Deep Cut, which has always been a formidable mountain. And now we've beaten Deep Cut before, but I wanted to show a video of us doing it again because I feel like my task force deserves a lot of credit. By the way, we have a new mini task force. If you're a low level and want to get into our task force, I'll put a thing on the screen or down below so you guys can go and join that task force. But I'm crazy pumped for this video so I can see how my task force does against this tough operation. Now, we do have a 50-man team, and it is somewhat high-level players, but I'm still very proud of my team because we're not like AZ gods. We aren't that good with some of those really complicated strategies. I'm not saying AZ is complicated, but planning out hits, trying to be strategic with your attacks is always something that new task forces always have a hard time doing. And I'm just very proud of my task force crushing it, destroying this operation. And along the way, I'll give you guys some tips. So if you're not in my task force, you can try to get better at operation attacks, but it also extends to mega crab attacks and even some player bases. So there's definitely a lot of valuable stuff in today's videos. Hammerman HQ finished up Orbifold. Now we are moving on to Dioxin, which you can do with a magic Zuka path, but I don't know how many people have. I don't really know what this player is doing. Yeah, what? I'm very confused right now because this player cleared the mines for the magic path but isn't using Zukas and instead just going up the bottom hand side. So this player cleared mines and it looks like he's clearing the beach so people can spend less energy when they attack this using the magic path. But as a very high level player, I'm wondering why this player, I have no name, attacked it without doing just a magic path. Maybe that he didn't have enough energy, but maybe he just didn't know it or something. I don't know. But also guys, I am going to be skipping one of the maps because the videos just get too long if I don't skip a map. So I'll probably skip Boomtown. I think that was the last one we were able to destroy. That's obviously a very tough operation base, but I want to get into the attacks where people hit first, so there's kind of like a time benefit. If you attack your operation first and you're in one of my task forces, I will show your attack and maybe give you some tips. So really liking this so far. Bombardiers are really good for just dropping them on the beach. If they're out of range of everything, they can clear a ton of defenses, so it's very, very nice. So Oreo had a ton of gumbo energy to do this hit, and it was just a very strong hit. A little bit unlucky, wasn't quite able to finish it off. The bottom rocket launcher got some fires off, which kind of sucks for him. So now we have Phil coming in and attacking Conifold. So Conifold is a pretty easy operation base. This one is super easy. So typically this would be like a solo. I don't remember if he ended up soloing this base, but this base can definitely be done in one attack using Zukas. Because once you're back up here, you really only need one shot for these, one shot for these, and one shot for these. It's a super easy hit. Sometimes you even have to go behind the core, but you really don't have to do that. You just need 3 shocks. I'm a little confused why he's going over here though. It seems like a harder path. Oh, if he goes up here, it's only 2 shocks. So very close to the solo. Very, very close. Very nice attack. Probably could have did it if he went to the other side. We just had someone just probably gumbo energy the core. But obviously the main meat of the of that base was taken down by Phil. So now we have always a winner coming in to Waterloo. This base, there is a magic path for this base also. It's a little complicated and you really need a ton of gumbo energy, but if you take down that building, which this player just did, the magic path doesn't really work. You can still do it, but it's just a little bit harder. So instead, he's just going straight up. He's not using the magic path, which is fine. You don't have to use that magic path. Just makes it a lot easier. Now that he's at the core, just taking it down. Wow, we got super unlucky with like 3 attacks so far. Just very close to being taken out and then not quite there. So we had someone just gumbo it out and we'll move on to the next player. So if you're asking yourself, Christian, what the heck is a magic path? I'll explain a little bit about it. That's a term people who are really into operations use for a route, typically for all Zookas, but a route that is very efficient. I guess is like the best way I could put it. So getting to the core with Zookas would typically require you to, oh, this player's being in shock and ears, that's awesome. So getting to the core with Zookas would typically require you to clear mines, yeah, just clear mines, and also spend a lot of smoke getting there if it's in the back like this. A magic path, typically you'll spend less smoke getting there because it kind of exploits the way buildings are placed, and not in a bad way, just in a strategic way. So it's taking advantage of the way buildings are placed. So very nice attack by Yup, able to take down that base in a solo. No. We had one player come up first. I forgot about Oreo. Oreo definitely did the meat of the attack, and the other player just dropped some jumbo energy. So we had a ton of operation bases that we were very close to taking out. We got super lucky and took them all out on the first try. We would save like 4 attacks, but we were able to defeat the operation, so I'm happy. If you're in a 10-man team attacking deep cut at a very high level, it's very tough. I don't think they're attacking deep cut. They might be attacking deep cut. And you really have to solo those bases, and if you don't, it really hurts your task force. So the last player that we just watched, just let his Zookas peek out a little bit. That's typically the sign of like an inexperienced all Zooka player, but it happens to everyone once in a while. Like I still will lose Zookas all at once when I attack some player base or Mega Crab bases, or even okay, so we're skipping Boomtown, we'll keep moving, or even when I do operation attacks. It's not something that you can get rid of completely, I feel like, but you can really eliminate it the more you use Zookas. So I remember when I was trying to get really into task forces and operations and stuff, that player just cleared up the side. When I was trying to get really into task forces and operations, I would just clear my map with Zookas, like all the time, just so I could get used to the way they walk and the way they move around, buildings, because that's the biggest thing. Typically, your Zookas will peak when 1, you're not paying attention, or 2, you don't anticipate a troop to move the way they do. And if you can know exactly how they move, it'll help you a lot. So this player just barely was able to finish off the core, able to take down Dioxin. Now we're moving on to Redline, which is definitely the hardest base in this deep cut, and I'm very impressed that my task force was able to take it out. So interesting move. I feel like I've seen people do that before at high levels. When I was, I've watched Redline videos before, and I feel like that's typically the way they're used, but this is such a beautiful way to do it. Bring bullet, get taunt like 6 or 7 of the rocket launchers, and then drop the rest of your troops. Have tanks in case rocket launchers hit your tanks, they won't hurt your bombardiers. Very beautiful attack. I love it. Okay. This player is getting Everspark in the back. I kind of like what they're doing, just like clearing the backhand side. We're not the most skilled Zooka players, so I'm very glad. I don't know why this player retreated, and it makes me so sad. I mean, the most they could have done was take down the damage amplifier, which wouldn't help at all, but it always hurts when someone retreats in an operation attack. Okay, But yeah, what I was saying is I really like the way people are attacking this base for my task force. Just getting Everspark in the back, hacking some of the rocket launchers, because I have a feeling we're going to get Zukas back in eventually after enough rocket launchers are taken out. If you can take out 2 or 3 rocket launchers with Everspark in a few attacks, you'll be able to take down a ton of the rocket launchers. This makes me more mad though when players don't even drop the rest of their troops. That was like a maxed out player, it looked like, or a player that was very high level and they didn't drop their troops. You know, you could have done damage on the side. It's always hard for me to empathize with people who retreat like that. Like, even when I didn't have instant training, I would never retreat in an operation. Never ever retreat. Always drop your troops. Always try to deal as much damage as you can to the base. I know that the purpose of those attacks were to take out the rocket launchers with Everspark, but you could have done what this player did after that and just dropped the rest of your troops on the bottom, and we would have had this entire area cleared if that player would have done that. So yeah, just always drop your troops is a good rule of thumb. Very nice attack though, opening up the base from the inside. This is Boomtown, which we're not watching. Boomtown is a tough base, but it's not as tough as Redline. So I'm glad we're showing Redline attacks. We have so many Redline attacks right now. Okay, here is another one. I want to see what this player does. Going from the right hand side, I guess that's the side we're pushing from. I feel like we do need to take out the shield generators. So I'm wondering when players are going to start doing that. Maybe we won't. That player snuck past those. I didn't know you could do that. That's really cool though that this player figured it out. So I'm a little nervous right now because I have a feeling this player might just take all these power cells and not do anything with them. I don't really know what this player is doing. It's making me very nervous because this would be not the greatest attack if they just did that. No, I take that back. That'd be an awful attack if that player just cleared power cells. And it looks like they are just clearing power cells. Okay, luckily they didn't take all the power cells. They're trying to go from the right hand side. I like how they're positioning their hero. But there's so much HP on that core, we really have to take down the shield generators. When there's 6 total shield generators, that's probably casting 4 million HP on the core. 4 million HP on the core, guys. We can't burn through that. That would take 3 attacks of Zukas to burn through. Or maybe just 2 attacks of Zukas to burn through. You can't afford that. You really just have to hit the shields on the bottom. This player should have brought, Oreos should have brought Bullet instead of that hero, Brick. Bullet would have helped more. I'm not trying to sound like overly critical. I'm just trying to give some tips and feedback I see from watching this. They brought a tanking troop, heavies, in front of their Zugas, which I like. Okay, what's this player doing? It's making me nervous again. I guess there's only 1 shield left, and we probably could burn it. This player could go to the back and burn the core the same way the other player did, or they can clear some of these buildings to make the hit easier for other players. I have nothing wrong with what that one player did getting to the back here, but the thing is it wasn't the time to do so. If you can fully trust your task force into doing the exact same hit you did, getting to the back, then that's fine. But I wouldn't trust our task force for getting multiple players to the back like that player did. In which case you probably should have just cleared the right hand side, which would make it easier for everyone. So you have to think strategically. I'm sorry to admit this, but this whole red line attack strategy I'm just not really buying into. A few players just kind of, I don't know what the notes were, so I don't want to hate on those players, but it probably was just a little miscommunication between players. I like what this player is doing, clearing the right hand side. I'm not going to keep watching it because I know what they're doing. But that's kind of like what you have to do for that base, I feel like, for us. Like, there are top level players that can flare their Zukas to the back. My task force isn't that good, so we really can't afford to do that. So finally, we're coming in and we're going to finish off red line. I want to see what this player does. See, at this point, we have the entire right hand side cleared. We were able to finish all of the shield generators. It just makes it incredibly easy to get to the back and clear the core, which is what it's all about. You know, we could spend attacks getting to the core, but there's 4 million HP on the core and there's rocket launchers hitting me. But you really have to be confident in your skills. But thank you so much for watching the video. Remember, I'm not showing Boomtown, but I hope you enjoyed the attacks as I showed them. And if you did, please drop a like as always, and I'll talk to you guys in the next Boom Beach video. Bye.